Why is it setting up things for Chrome? I've started taping, so at the beginning of this, you will have a black screen.
Oh, you started already?
Yeah, I started the, yeah, right there.
Are we
Finally.
in Visual Studio?
So what you want, what we will want is Visual Studio for the data tools one.
Okay.
So you do need to run it as administrator. You don't need it to make the report, but you do need it to deploy the report, which we will want to do.
Do that again.
So
Right click.
yeah, so I think I'm getting there. Let me turn off this spotlight and get this down. We need to replace the lamp. So you want to go to the tile scene window. Tiles. Okay. And then you want to go down to that little arrow where it lists all the things, all the programs. Find the Visual Studio data tools, right click on it, and then it has run as administrator. Now weirdly, usually that's across the bottom, but I'm not sure why it isn't here. But we'll run it as administrator. And then the account controls because you're running as administrator. One of the secrets of, actually since Windows 7, is that even though you make yourself an administrator on your computer, you're never running as administrator. You always have to shell, kind of shell up or change the permissions to do anything as administrator. And that's good because that means that there shouldn't be any processes running that you're unaware of. They should all spark a notice. So a virus should let you know that it's happening. They don't always. But
This is actually beautiful. It looks like it opens as Visual Studio. Is it open?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Now, if you have Visual Studio 2012 or 2013, it may be both. It may be both the Visual Studio and the shell. The difference being that you'll have some additional project types. I noticed that at home, actually, when I did. So someday this will open. This is sort of sad because I actually have twice as much RAM as you do on this instructor's machine. So how are yours doing?
I'm restarting.
Okay.
Mine got to a point that said they couldn't install the updates.
And now it's uninstalling them.
How do you turn off that?
All right, let me, when this loads, we'll go do that.
Okay.
Although you can't, so I can wait a few more minutes for you. And
So I'm going to go to Visual Studio.
yeah, this shouldn't be taking so long. Is this in the virtual machine?
SQL Server Data Tools,
Make sure
right?
you're in the virtual machine because you should need permission in that.
Should you be in the SQL Server Data Tools for Visual Studio?
Yes.
And administrate.
And run as administrator.
Okay.
Why is it taking so long to load? I do not know. While it is doing this, so what I'm going to do is right click on the Windows icon down in the corner. And I'm going to go to the not computer management. I just want the control panel.
Say control panel?
Yeah, this is just if you want to turn off updates.
I cannot connect to virtual machine. Just trying to It's have been very slow.
I guess try to shut it down
I did turn it down and
and then install.
if it's low and then it's just like restarting automatically and then like no, I don't know.
Well, it needs to finish saving, I think. Whatever.
Where's the, how do you make it so that it doesn't?
That's what I was thinking. I haven't done that yet. So, system security, I believe.
System security,
I think,
Windows update, right?
so yeah, Windows update, turn automatic updating on or off. You could either do, but choose, let me choose whether to install them. Check for updates, but let me choose whether to download and install them.
Control panel and then what?
And then system, or never check for updates.
That's what I'm
That's what I'm gonna do too. I mean, it gets wiped out in 5 weeks, yeah.
Windows update and choose your Windows update setting.
Right, so where you go, again, is control panel, system and security, Windows update, and then there's turn updating on or off.
Oh, right. And just install recommended update automatically.
Well, I just said don't even look,
Oh,
which is, as I said, definitely not recommended.
oh, never check for updates.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember it.
So do you want me to wait for you?
No.
I am recording. So I'm recording a lot of dead space at the beginning of this. Everybody else sort of, if you need help, I don't think you will, but if you need help, let me know and I'll help you up next time. So we are, as administrator, yes. I am going to do file, new project. And I'm going to do a report server well, actually, I want reporting services. So over here, I want reporting services. And we're going to do the project rather than the wizard, although you're welcome to try the wizard for some time. And I don't know what I want to call these, so I call it I don't know. I'm going to use community assist, but I actually probably each one is probably one report. You might be able to do more than one report in a project. Let's just do community assist. I'm going to say reports 1 in case we have to do multiples. I'm going to do OK. And it should take only a minute.
Mine is still setting.
Yeah, I know it's going to be, as we get through the summer, these machines will grow slower because we have more stuff on them.
Yeah.
It's part of it. The hard disk grows, and the hard disk is just a file. So, yay. Now, if I maximize this, will it still stay in the window for the most part? Okay, so there is a toolbox, nothing in it yet because we don't have a report. One of the first things I'm going to do is do a shared data source. Notice the folders over here. When we get into business intelligence, there'll be a whole bunch of folders over here. And typically what you want to do is just go through each folder and add a new thing to each of them. I'm not sure I will do a shared data set, but I will do a shared data source. And so I'm going to add a new data source, and this is a window that you should be sickeningly familiar with. So we could call it data source 1, but let's call it community assist data source or something.
Did you just right click it or?
Yes, I just right clicked it and saw it.
Oh, it's still trying to.
All right, so I will slow down if need be. And it is going to be SQL Server. And when I say edit for the connection string, this is the one that you should be sickeningly familiar with.
So right click, because I don't think mine's gonna. And hers.
Oh, you did the report.
No, that came up. That came up. It's.
Well, I think the project is. Was it
It was the second one, yeah.
Nice updating.
So yours is updating. Why is some updating and some not? Yours is updating too, or just slow?
Right.
And again, it is being taped, however good that is, I don't know. So I'm going to do // We'll do a couple of these. So this isn't just a one-shot thing. ITC2246 SQL. You could open up your, there's a couple of things you could do. You could do the services, the configuration and the Windows servers. It'll have a list of all your servers. Or you could look into, open up the, if you've been using it, you could open up the Management Studio, right? And it should be the one that's the default there, right? I think it does. Well, it depends. Is it localhost? Is it a default instance, or did you name it? If you named it, then you'll want to do // or your computer names // either way.
I actually accidentally clicked on the down arrow, which you should never do, but it actually came up with the 2 servers.
Did it? Sometimes it will, but not often.
It actually got the 2 SQL servers on the computer.
Yeah, so it might work if you're willing to. Okay.
So planning new project. Finally, it's good.
Yeah, so you want a new project, reporting
It's
services,
the same thing.
report project. You did it. So is that the actual server?
Recording.
I'm not sure. Is it actually loading them, or is it not now?
So integration service not project, right? It's not that. Why is it on open? Only 2. Are they both in service, right? Yeah. They put server. Community assist.
Here's a silver ring.
Okay. Yeah.
And I knew it.
What kind of, right, so did you do, what was the project that you chose? So do file again. Yeah, do it again. Well, not there. In the Visual Studio. Because that's an SSIS toolbar, it's the file and a new project. And you want reporting services, not the.
So do you share data source for like click to add the new, did you do add it or add the new data source?
I just did add new data source.
Okay.
Yeah. Add the data source.
Are you there yet, Ken? All right, so I'm doing community assist. All of this was just to get community assist. And you could have written it like that.
So you change your name, right, for the community assist data source?
Yeah, I changed it to community. One of the reasons it's actually a really good idea to name these, if you're uploading these to the web pages, and they all have data source 1, they will overwrite each other, and half of your reports will fail because they're the wrong data source. So it's really, really actually pretty important, and I found this out by doing it. It's really important to name them. So I'm going to do okay.
So ITC SQL. So
You don't have to write that. That's what we did in the edit.
So next to this one, ITC.
I don't think it's properties. I think we just started the wrong window up over there. There should be an SSIS toolbar. So let's look under view. What window is that in? Solution Explorer. Open up Solution Explorer. So you go to File, New. Well, actually, so you have it open. So do View. Solution Explorer.
So that's change the password.
Yeah, right click and do New Data Source. Oh, you see the way you can log in?
And then okay.
Yes.
Okay. Oh,
If you were doing this alone, it takes like 30 seconds, but we're going to try to get everybody, it's a little longer. So anyway, I'm just going to do okay and then do okay. And what it'll do is it will put a shared data source here, theoretically.
What's the
Yes, okay.
community assist?
Community Assist, yeah. We're just connecting to Community Assist. Remember we did that. Now, shared data sets. A data set is a query, basically. It's a query that returns data. Shared means that you want to use it across multiple reports. So you can put one in there if you're using the same, because you could use the same query for a lot of different reports, a lot of different organizations. I'm going to just do the query, call it in the report itself. But that's what the data sets can do if you want to share them. Those are for ones that are common to more than one report. I am going to just right click on this and add new report. And it launches the report wizard whether you want it or not, but we'll go with that. So this is add new report. You got that. Do you want a moment? Yeah. As I said, we'll run through these a couple of times because we're going to make more than one report. So it tells you what you're going to do. Select a data source, design a query, choose the type of report you want to create, specify the basic layout, and then the formatting. So I'm going to, we're going to use the data source. So we don't have to do that again. Now, from the wizard, you know, if you'd forgotten and you didn't do the data source, you could define it right here. Right. So it's there you usually have opportunities to add stuff. So now you can do a query builder. Let's go back. Next, I don't want to build a query. Well, so one of the things you can do. It's just next. I'm looking at the designer. I don't know if I want to do the designer.
Wait, did you put
I did. I'm just curious. You don't have to do this. I'm just import query. Does anybody remember the names of my views? Yeah. So you could just do like select star from view. Well, let's do employee info. And then we'll look at some of the other stuff. So if I do next, now I have a choice between tabular and matrix. Matrix is like two-dimensional and tabular is single, you know, actually. Tabular, would that be that way? So you have columns and rows. Matrix, you have, you know, double columns and rows.
Oh, you had to do a select statement?
I did a select statement on the view that I wrote.
Okay.
You could build the query right now, or you could just write it into the query string. Just find it a little bit of truth. So I find it kind of annoying, and it's really hard to debug to write the query in here. And the query builder I find really annoying, although you're welcome to use it. It's like, have you ever used Access's query builder? It's quite a bit like that. The thing is, it can give you some unexpected results if you're not careful, the query builder. So could a query, but I'm better at doing it that way. So we made our view, so I'm using the view. You could create the view right here if you wanted, but I'm going to do next. Did you get it in there? Okay, tabular. And then what you have is you have some ways. This is like the page header. This is a group header. And then the rest is just the details. These don't have to have anything in it. Like there's not a lot of grouping here. Do we want to group it by like years with charity? I don't know that that'll do anything, but so you can just drag in there. And then you can, like all the others are going to go here. So I can do next. And then it asks you how you want to do your groups. You can step them or you can block them. You can include subtotals, which doesn't make sense here. Do you want to enable drill down? Let's do that just for fun, although I don't think it makes sense here either.
Does it matter if it's in the group or?
Well, it matters. I mean, theoretically, when you're building reports, like this one, I'm not sure it makes sense to group by anything, but you could group by, right? Now, in Metro, we don't really have this as such, but one of the things you could do is you could group employees by position, right? And then you could, there's other things that you could do. So this is like, if there's this is the highest level, you know, group, and then it's the subgroups, and then the actual data that it's showing. You have those choices. In a matrix, you have choices as to whether to go on the side or go across the top.
Excellent, if you're meaning, if you group by position, it would give you separate tables for each.
Yeah, yeah. I believe we'd have to, I think that's correct. You have to have something in the details. You do not have to have something in these.
Oh, okay.
So I'm just going to go next. And then it basically, this is just a, now drill down again. I don't think it makes sense here, but I did it as an enable. It lets you, so it'll give you kind of summary information. And if you click on a thing, it would let you go deeper into it. Right. Or it might show you just the headers. And then you can click on those, you know, the grouping totals, and then you can click on those to get the detail. This is really good when you have multiple levels of data. And what you want to do is you want like a generic view, and then you can click on it to get a more specific view. You know, it actually works pretty nice. As again, I don't think it makes sense with this. So I'm not sure if, I have no idea what they're doing that will cause.
What was the name of the view?
It was VW employee info.
Yeah.
VW underscore employee info.
Info is ITC. Info
It doesn't matter what the
Oh,
capitalization is.
Tabula and here with charity is middle and the rest of all.
And then you have a choice here if you want to try to decorate it. Now you can do all of this after the fact. I like blues, they'll just go slate. And this is just their summary. And we can preview the report if we want.
Did you do the slate
I did, yeah, it doesn't matter which one you
Yeah.
do.
and then report?
And then I'm going to finish.
So you don't need a name, report name, change it.
Oh, I should have given it a name.
What would you just name it like? Your system.
So like employee info or something. We can fix that.
Employee source.
Employee info. So I'm going to, I wonder if it'll let me. Without killing it, I hope. Now notice the drill down here. This is in the preview. Some parameters have not been specified. So actually, the drill down probably just doesn't give us anything. This is the design view. I wonder if I can get rid of the drill down.
What is the deadline?
That was what it was doing, is it was giving the years with.
That's something you checked, right?
Right.
Okay.
No, that's not what I wanted to do. That doesn't make sense either. So one way to get rid of it is to just delete that, maybe delete that whole row. And I just right clicked on that. And so years with, I will do as years with charity. So these are the actual fields, right? And the ones above are the names of the fields. And you can widen it. The way I did is I clicked on things. Now my report, what?
Oh, design, that's why. Mine was, oh.
Yeah, an error occurred. How do you get rid of the toggle item? We may have to do it again to get rid of this. Built-in fields, report name, images, parameters. There's no parameter there. I don't want row groups. Delete group. And now I think it will. Now I got rid of everything though. That isn't what I wanted to do. Column groups. So preview is still broken. You know, easier than fixing this at this point. Yeah, let's just delete it.
All right, how do we do that?
Just right click on it and delete it. I just deleted the report because I did that toggle down and then I deleted it and then I screwed up everything.
So do you want to do this?
So I'm just going to make a new report.
Okay, so should I just
So this time I'm just going to,
delete all?
I didn't delete all, I just right clicked on, I just hit the report and right clicked on it and said delete, yeah. So I'm going to, I want to do this kind of from scratch, but, well, let's do add new report. Goes through the wizard. We'll do one where we don't do it. Community assist is fine. Query builder again is just, this is the same thing we just did. Select star from BW employee info. Next, tabular. I'm just going to move them all into details. We'll go with slate. Let's name it here employee info. I'm going to call it employee information. And then I'll finish it. And the reason I called it that is that's what will actually show up as a header there. Now you can change. This is design. If I go to preview, this time it actually shows the employees.
So not enable with that.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just did no drill down, no. Now you can do things, so in the design, like monthly salary. If I do, so toolbox, actually, so let's just right click on it. I wonder if I have to convert it to text to format it. Sum, aggregate, expression. I think if I convert it to text, text properties, alignment, font, action. I'm not sure if this is what I want to do.
Oh, so wait.
So I'm just trying to get like the, notice how there's a field list there. Okay, so let's do number, currency, that's what I wanted.
So you go to placement holder.
So I converted to text. What I did after that to get rid of that, notice that little, I don't know, you might need a zoom.
Why that field?
Well, because it's a numeric field.
Oh, okay.
I was just trying to get the dollar signs in it.
So just go to the currency.
Yeah, and then I right click on it, text box. So what
It was convert to text. Like if you click property, placeholder properties, do you have?
yeah.
No, there, yeah. Right? Oh, there. Then if you like click.
There, if it's highlighted,
Yeah.
placeholder properties, numbers, currency, whatever kind of currency you want, use 1,000 separator, do okay.
You have to do the same for the date, because the date's shown on the phone.
Oh.
You might want to.
Yeah, you might. So let's see, let's look at the preview. What is the date doing? Oh, it's showing the time too. So you might want to, so select it again, placeholder properties. Is it number?
Yeah.
Date, and then however you want to show it.
So just the year and the thousand and stuff. That's my good.
So now if I do a preview, actually I didn't change it. Yeah, it did. Just took a while.
Looks better.
Oh, I should silence that. Okay, that looks a little better. Is there, now I wonder if we did the actual, we'll have to see when we do the actual report, because I think there's more employees. Well, actually, there aren't that more employees than that. And that's pretty much all of them. You could do other things here, like if you wanted a new image for this report. And one of the things we'll do for some of the others that don't make a lot of sense here is notice that there are charts and sub-reports and data bars and, you know, there's all sorts of things that you can add to these. I don't know what an image would be for this. Let's make one more report, and then we will, one that has some numeric properties, and then we will add a chart, and then we'll try to deploy them. You can spend a lot of time on these. Making really good reports in here can take a while, you know, as you go through and try to figure out what the display is. Like if you don't like these colors, everything is changeable. You could, in the design, you could look at these. I'm going to do shift and multiple select. And then I am going to, what I want is colors. Are they up here? Tools. I know there's a color place, because I've done this before. I'm looking for like fill or cut, tools, window, format, background color. What? Yeah, I also found it under format. So more colors. What do we want the background to be? If I wanted to go to navy blue, see, it changed it to navy blue. You can change the widths of the columns. Oops. But you want to do it up here in the gray. Let's see what that looks like.
It's horrible.
Yeah. I mean, you could, the more I play with it, the uglier it'll get. All right. So that's, I mean, that's sort of the gist of it, except let's do one where we can add some charts and stuff. And again, you could add an image if you want. So if you wanted a picture or a logo on your report. I'm going to try, I haven't done this. I'm going to try this one. Let's do add new item report. I'm going to try to do this by not doing the wizard.
What did you do?
I did right click on report folder,
report, okay.
add new item report.
Report.
And this one, what is one of the other, didn't we have like grants? What was the name of that one?
Service grants.
Yeah, service grants is,
and or 12 grants by service or grants and service by service.
let's do total grants by service. That gives us some options. This one actually a wizard might try. Okay, so this is a raw report, right? This is totally raw. There's nothing there. It's not using the wizard. So one of the first things we knew is add the data source. And the data source, we should be able to use a shared data source and do community assist.
How'd you get to that?
I right-click the data source folder.
Oh, okay.
So you name total grants by what?
Total grants by service. This gives us a thing that if we want to do drilling down, and I'm not sure if I can do this without the wizard, it makes sense to some extent. So
Use shared.
Drilling down is essentially cost.
yes, it's basically letting you collapse levels, and then you can open the level that you want to look at in detail. So anyway, we want the community assist data source. Now we need a data set that's specific to this. And again, I don't want to name it data set 1. So you could use a shared data set, which we don't have, or you can use a data set stored in the report. It should see the data source. What am I doing? Why does it not see it?
Paramount.
What?
Paramount.
You wrote that.
But we don't have data source 1. It should be community assist.
No, you call
No,
it data
you
source.
called the data source one.
Oh,
Over on the left, when you said new data source, you called it data source one.
oh.
So do you want to change name for the data source, a community?
Yeah, so why did it not? So let's delete that. I thought I did
There was a way to add a name
add data source.
at the top.
And we want
Top.
Use the shared reference.
Yeah, but it's-
And then what I need to do is name it.
Yeah.
I think I can name it the same.
Oh, community assist data source?
Yeah. And then when we do the data set, I see why. Then we can, let's, what do we want to name it? Grants by service or something. And we want to do this as, so community assist data source, use data set. And then basically we just want to do select star from, what was it, grants by service?
Total grants. by-
Total grants by service. This is the problem with using pre-created queries, is you have to remember what they're called. Import might actually show it. But anyway, let's do okay.
Oh, you-
See, notice it gives you the service, the requested, the allocated, and the difference.
So you did, what did you do on the query?
So in the query,
Oh, you can-
select star from VW total grants by service. I'm just looking under what options are. You can make it case sensitive, width sensitive, interpret subtotals as detail rows. It's all set to auto. I don't know what options. Oh, so to get back to the properties, I went back to here at the data set and I just went to data set properties. I'm not sure what canotype sensitivity is. So you can add filters and you can add parameters. I think in order to drill down, you have to have a parameter. basically to say what the connection is between the topic and the thing. All right, so I'm just going to, we have now the data set and we have the data source. There's a toolbox here. If you open it, it has those things. So notice it has table and it has matrix. This, I think, makes more sense as a simple table. So I'm going to just drag a table on here. And then in the table, you can drag like the service and the requested and the allocated. And I think we can just add, well, actually, insert a column to the right.
So you're doing this because you don't want to use the wizard.
I'm just showing you how to do it without a wizard, yeah. And actually, I think it's, in general, is going to be, you have more control without the wizard. Although you can always do the wizard and come back and modify things. So either way. The trouble, it can be a little bit more complex, though, without the wizard. So one of the things you can do here is, like if you wanted to change the, so I'm going to go to Format. Let's do foreground color is white. So all my text disappears. And then we'll do Format, background color.
What is your other difference?
Oh, I don't know. What do we want? I don't know if that's good. The other thing I might do is just make all of those bold. If we do a preview at this point,
Oh, so you didn't have to change the data type and stuff like that?
yeah.
How come? Because you made that new.
Okay, well, they come in with the data set. Now, we probably want to change these to currency and currency.
Oh, that's what I'm
and
talking
currency.
about.
Yeah, we'll probably want to do that. We might want to do something like put a line here or something, just make it.
Mine doesn't like my color.
Oh, what does it not like about the color?
The value of the color property for text run, blah, 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 is not, which is not a valid color.
That's not a valid color?
Text box 1 dot paragraphs 0 dot text run is 0.
Let's see what it's.
Oh, I said no color.
All right, so a couple of other things we can do. Again, this is sort of, and then we'll, as I said, one of the things we want to do is a chart. So I'm going to highlight that, placeholder properties, number, we'll make it currency. That's date, I want currency. We'll have the 1,000 separator, that looks fine. Negative numbers are in a parentheses, which we shouldn't have any. We'll do okay. Do the same over here. I probably could do both of these together. Well, maybe. Maybe not. Placeholder properties, number, currency, 1,000. Okay. Okay. So now if we do a preview, that looks a little better, I think. I'm going to go back to design. I'm curious. So if I do this and I do a border on the right side of that, What does it look like in preview? Nothing.
Because the color's the same.
Well, I wonder, so if I do the border on that side and make it like 2¼ points, is that going to make any difference when I do the preview? No. How do I get that line? So we want a
Outside.
right border. And do okay. I think it did at that time. Although I'm not sure that's better. Kind of doubled the border is what it looks like.
Well, this still shows the variable.
Yeah, now I wonder if they would actually, we could probably get rid of those.
Yeah.
No, I'm not sure. Not entirely sure how. Maybe I'm going to undo that border. Yeah. And then I wonder if that's no border altogether. Now it's the same. No, it's no border.
Well, I can't figure out how, like, I select the whole table, but then my right click on it unselects it. So I don't know if I'm actually selecting the table.
If for what it's worth, I'm just playing right now. Do I like that? I don't know. We could get rid of those lines altogether. I don't know if that would be better or worse. I'm going to do a couple of other things in this design, I think. Would it be better without the lines altogether? And then I want to add some sums if I can. So this is, and then I think on this side, well, let's see what I got. Didn't do anything. I don't know if that's better or not. I'm going to do another row though. So I'm going to insert row, inside group below. I don't know if I wanted it inside group. And in here, is it in the toolbox? So let's do a text box. And then we can do here, request it, but I think I can do no, that's not being super happy. Expression. Operators, arithmetic, no, common functions, aggregate, sum. So this should be the total of the requested. I'm going to, in the toolbox again, I'm going to drag a text box here. In the field list, little field list that drops down, I'm going to do allocated. I'm going to highlight that, right click it, do expression. Common functions, aggregate, sum. Okay. I'm going to do the same on the difference. So I'm going to toolbox, text box. Okay, and then from the little drop-down list, I'll choose difference. Highlight that, right-click, expression, common functions, aggregate, sum. Okay. And then I think what I want to do for that whole row is I do want,
So when you insert row, you do inside the group, below the line, or outside the line? No, I mean outside or inside?
I put it inside the group.
Okay.
We'll see if that's what I really
Yeah,
want.
same thing for request.
Okay.
Yeah, I did the same for requested, allocated, and difference. Those are all supposedly sums. And let's see if that's true. Oh, so it did a sum
For each one.
of each one, so that's not where we want it.
Oh, okay, so maybe just do it.
So I don't know,
I do outside group.
and it should work, right?
Yeah.
Well, it shows some, the design.
So I'm going to delete the row I just did. I'm going to add a row.
Oh, and then do the sum is what you wanted already.
So if I do outside group below,
Yeah. That's cool.
so I do requested, yeah, it does the sum already. Does it capture the same? Yes, it does.
Wait, how'd you do that again?
Although I need to do a couple things I can see I need to do. So what I did is I added a new row, but I did it outside the group.
Right, I did that.
And then I just pulled the, the list down for the fields. Now, so like I would probably call this totals. And I think I want to drag service a little wider because one of the things at least,
How did you do this?
yeah, that looks a little better. Now, the other thing I want to do is put a line up above that, I think.
How'd you do it so it didn't add sum everything?
So I deleted that row.
Yeah.
I added a new row, but instead of putting it inside the group, I put it outside the group below.
Oh, there was an option?
Yes, when you add a new row.
Okay,
So when I click on this and I right-click, insert row, actually it doesn't have that now.
so you went outside,
Outside group, yeah.
outside group below.
And there, that actually doesn't look too bad.
How did you do the total as you just did it?
It gave me the totals.
Oh, it's automatically coming out?
I don't think I like that. So as I said, I'm just playing and you guys can play too. I just want to give you a sense of what this stuff is like. There are people whose whole job is just trying to make reports out of this. All right. So I think there's other things because these are all, the numbers are all right aligned. We might want to change the alignment on these. So I don't want to place, it's probably, format, align,
Above,
oh, is it?
there's those lines.
Oh, right. That's easier. And that looks a little better. We're getting better. So the next thing we probably want to do is add a chart. I wonder if I can move this over, the whole table. No, I don't want it bigger.
It's on that end, yeah.
Okay. And then let's do a chart, and then I'll show you how to deploy these, how to look at them then. How is it going? Are you guys doing? As I said, you guys can probably do better than me on these. Oh, you're still updating?
It's not that it's said cannot update.
And now it's undoing the updates.
Yeah, but it's an hour.
Yeah, well, let's hope that it clears up soon. This isn't hard. I can help you catch up. All right, so in the toolbox, we've also got like charts. So do you want the chart underneath it or next to it? Under. So I'm going to do a chart, theoretically. Oh, I have to be in design. So I'm going to do a chart. And then it gives you kind of like Excel or that. It gives you all sorts of choices. To me, one that makes sense here is a pie chart. So you can choose which kind of pie you want. What kind of pie do we want? 3D pie? Okay. And then what we need to do is format it and figure out which category is which, right? So the chart data, the sum values. Yeah, so I'm trying to remember how you get these groups over here. I'm going to go back.
Here's if you click detail, it says it shows service requested allocated to shows.
So what we want to do, I think, are the service. Does that work? Count service. Don't know that I want to count. Aggregate sum. Is that what I want?
Then you go to category groups,
I think category groups.
and then when you do go down, there's a detail. It's already in there, service and all this stuff. If you go to category group down there, yeah. If you're observe,
So what we want,
it's service requested.
let's do allocated. Except that I think what we want is the opposite.
Oh.
Let's get service out of here. And I think what we want down here is service. Right?
Mm-hmm. There's also a series groups that you can't see if you scroll down.
Oh, that might be what we really want. So it's a series service.
Yeah.
What's the difference between the series?
And then these two could, I'm not sure what the category groups are doing.
Like, categories got the names next to the colors, and I put the service names there.
So you want the service names here too. I don't know, let's see what I got.
Oh my God, there's so many.
That actually isn't too bad. It's a little ugly, but it's not, that's close to what I want.
How did you go back to?
All right, so let's see if I can get, so I did allocated was what I was calculating. And then category groups was service and series groups was service too.
You might want to take one of them off because it duplicates it, right?
Does it?
In the
So which one do I want to get rid of, the category or the service?
I just have category.
All right,
Take out the services.
so let's delete the service one. And then let's do a preview.
How do you know which ones to choose? You know, like which fields to choose?
Well, you have to kind of just know what the data is.
Oh, right.
So what I wanted to do, the allocated is the amount actually given
Mhm.
as opposed to the amount requested.
'Cause it's
And then the
under-
service is what we're looking at. It'll be the differentiation of the colors. The series groups, I'm not sure. I'll have to play with that. So you said it just duplicated everything?
Yeah, can you put a hyphen in between them and says like food dash food.
Oh, I think.
Oh, this one is for the childcare photos, dental.
And you can stretch these, make it bigger,
Mhm.
you know. Let's look at the preview now.
It's much better.
I think you can do things like on the chart, not in preview, but on the chart you can do things. Let's see on this part here.
Oh, you can touch the chart.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of if you do. I'm not sure we would want to, but show data labels. Well,
Oh, for the
that would actually show you what the amount is, I guess. And I'm not sure that's a good thing. Yeah, that's ugly, ugly, ugly. So show data labels we want off. There's different 3D effects you could do. Like if you want to rotate it, you can change the fills, and etc. Can make it a little bit bigger still if you want. No, theoretically, you can make it bigger.
Oh, and
Am I
you
in
can
preview
change the
still?
title too.
What?
You can
Oh,
change
yes,
the
you can change
title.
the title. So and you could have multiple charts. Like if you wanted to chart requested and different separately,
Mhm.
you could have 3 pie charts if you want. That's probably enough for this. I mean, the thing is that there is a ton of stuff you can do on these that make them even more sophisticated, more interesting. So let's see if we can deploy these, and then we'll look at them in the web environment. What?
Some of the color palettes are ridiculous.
Yeah. The default one, I usually find that if I start messing with them, they get really bad. I think you can do things too, like, can't you? You can pull out like a single piece if you want. Maybe not. It's not letting me select a piece, so maybe not. All right, so let's see if we can deploy these. The first thing you have to deploy if you're going to deploy these is the actual connection, the shared data source. If you don't deploy that, then they won't display because there's no connection. So when I right click on that, there is a deploy. Oh yeah, and I have to specify the target, which for some reason is never specified. You have to go do it. Let's see if I can remember the target. So I'm going to go to Community Assist Report 1 Properties. Target URL. And I'm pretty sure that it is going to be HTTP, and I think it's HTTPS, but I'm not sure that matters. I believe it's localhost even though the server isn't localhost. I'm pretty sure this is localhost. Report server. I'm not 100% sure of that.
Is it case sensitive?
No. Let's see if it'll deploy there.
Because down below it says server name.
Does it?
Right.
So when I do project,
When you select target to the URL,
yeah, although I don't think it's the server that it's,
click on that area
okay.
and down in this description.
Enter the path to where the project is deployed. For example,
Server name.
report server. And I think the server name though is not it's the IIS server. Let's try it.
So you do the network server.
So I'm going to try to deploy.
So you did target server URL HTTPS localhost.
Let's get rid of the HTTPS. Let's make it just project properties. Let's get rid of the S, although I think it is.
Specify report server could not be found.
Yeah, let's just see if it is there. If it fails this time, I'll look at the, but I'm pretty sure it's not. I mean, we could try the ITC.
No, I mean, it failed without the S. But it's a different failure. Oh, it's a fail? It says that server does not exist.
Localhost. That should exist even though. Well, let's try. Let's try the. Now you have. Are you working? Not you named yours too, right? Try the name. ITC226 SQL Server.
Oh, someone else did that?
Yeah, so it's just.
Oh.
I just did the name of the server. ITC226
And then
SQL Server.
server?
Report server.
Is that what you mean?
Well, there actually is a report server
Oh.
in there. I just thought it is possible that I always had local host because that's where I always use the default instance.
Check the configuration to make sure the report server is on.
It should be on.
Right. Like,
Yeah.
memo.
And then, save it on the phone, and it has.
And you just did it.
Well, that didn't work. So I am. Oh, so it should be. I mean, it should be. I'm almost sure it's localhost. No. I'm going to try something. All right, so let me look on the blog, although I'm sure that's what I put in there. We could check to see the we could check to see if you look at the configuration, the SQL Server configuration tools, you could check to make sure the report server is running, but it should be running. Can't? Chooses to save this. Did I have a link in the assignment?
What about just local host? Will that work?
I tried local, but you need a report server. Report server, I'm sure is right. The rest, did I have a link here? No.
It's http://localhost report to server. It belongs to.
Right, but it isn't working on that.
So, yeah, your logo is like that.
Yeah, I'm sure that's actually what I had in the blog. Let me look at the configuration.
I did it without the HTTP. It said localhost /
But did it work?
I didn't get any errors. I don't know. I don't know. Can you tell it worked? Because look, I went to
that one too.
okay.
So it is working for ITC 620 process ID 2020. The report server is running.
So it's like ITC2247.
You know what? It is under NT service, which I don't know if that matters. I think though we might have to do, you know how we do when we're doing the actual connection, how we have to do /. Now I'm not sure how that works here. So let's try Steve sum. ITC 226 SQL server. So the machine name plus the server? No. Why? So where would my URL be? I never had this problem before. So let's try NT. What does it say in the thing? That's not where I want it to go. I want it to go here. NT service, report server. That shouldn't matter.
Oh.
What?
Let me try something.
Okay. And if that fails, I'll Google it.
I just Googled it.
What did it say?
It said your machine / report server, not your machine / the server / report server.
Right. I don't remember ever putting the SQL Server name in there. So but I think that all right, so let me Google. Anyone that gets there before me. Report server path. SQL Server. Maybe just report server path. This is an MSDN, which can be useful. Server name reports, I'm using, okay. HTTP server name reports server instance name.
This guy discovered that it was not called report server, it was called report server underscore SQL 2008.
Oh,
But would that be the case for others?
this just says HTTP server name. But server name, I wonder if we need to, let's try something. I don't want to spend forever on this, but I would like it to work. Project properties. So I'm going to do, it said, and I don't know if this is true, $ ITC226 SQL server spelled right. No. But because it should be of this syntax, HTTP server name reports server instance name. But what is the server name? Is it localhost?
What's the instance?
The instance name would be the name of the SQL server. So if it's default, then you don't need that. So it's just server name. So let's try one last thing. I always say last, but we'll probably do it more than once. I'm going to, instead of Steve, ITC 20. I'm sure that looks too clumsy. That one's got to be wrong, but we'll try one more time. All right, so SQL Server path. Another way to get the report path. That doesn't make good sense to me. All right, let's see what else we got. It should be in the default path. Uh, I don't know why it's not. What time is it getting to be?
It's 11:30.
When you access report server to its URL, the URL should include the host name, not the IP address. HTTP localhost report server, but we're not localhost. But it says computer name. So you should be able to do the computer name or localhost. Why is it not working? Because I'm pretty sure the localhost they're referring to is not. I'm pretty sure it's the web server, not the. Well, that's perplexing. I mean, we can build reports, but if you can't deploy them, it takes half the fun away. Let's look at the configuration again. I'm going to right-click Properties, Service, Start Mode Automatic, Advanced, Dump Directory. This is where that's where it's going.
Same deal.
Well, that shouldn't, we want the HTTP address, not the URL. I'm curious, let's look at network configuration, nothing there. Client protocols, TCP IP is enabled. Server network, protocols from SQL Server. TCP IP is disabled. I'm going to enable that.
Where'd you find that?
I'm in the SQL Server Configuration Manager.
Okay. And under,
So I went under Server Network Configuration,
okay.
and I TCP IP, and I enabled it. No guarantees that'll do anything for us.
Why can't I get into my?
You can't get into your configuration? Why, I wonder? Ah,
So it has to restart too.
does it say that?
Yeah.
It is enabled and it still wasn't working.
So you are in order, did stupid old man.
Well, I'm not sure it's gonna matter,
Oh, God.
but let's, no. I am not sure what the problem is. As I said, we can make reports to our heart's content, and if all else fails, that's what we'll do. But so we have under databases, there's report server, and this would be I'm going to try one more thing. I think I've already tried it though.
Are you gonna give us time on Tuesday for the queries?
Yeah, I'll give you some time today too. I'm just curious. No, see, it doesn't find. I may have to research this and we may have to do this later. I've never had trouble with this. So I guess go ahead and work on the queries if you need to, and you can start building the reports. I mean, you don't have to deploy them right now. And I will look and see if I can figure out why it's not doing that. I'm going to stop the video, which has been watching me go up and down, do nothing for a while.
So after you done these, then you can do the reports, right?